Welcome back to JTMJ Crafts, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going, everybody? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. What's up, Bubba? Say hi. Say hi. I got something for you. Just for you. I got it in my pocket. Look at it. Oh, yeah. He says, thanks, Dad. Nice. Nice, son. My newly cleaned craft room. And you'll go and... I guess it'll be nice and clean again. And we're at the diamond painting. How's it going, everybody? I just figured I'd show you guys Trapper Do to start out the video. So, to start out today, I am working on Pinto prints from Treasure Studios Art. Here is the image. He is just absolutely stunning. This is for my GiddyUp event. So it's a Any Horse Craft event. And this is one of the paintings I've wanted to do for quite some time. And finally this year, it was the perfect painting for the perfect event. I love me some horses. So, got me some diamonds. Hopefully my glue's still good. I haven't diamond painted in a couple of days. This is the first time I'm going to lay some diamonds down in a couple of days. I've been on a video game kick the last 3 or 4 days. Sunday, I had some friends come over. I ended up hanging out here at the house. Trapper Do almost attacked one of my friends because he was being a douchebag and he thought it was going to be funny to touch me and kind of put his, you know how people do, and they walk up and they, push your shoulder, whatever, bro. You know, that's what my buddy did, and Trapper took it the wrong way. Trapper jumped up in his face and started snarling his teeth and snapping his mouth, and he sat there and just gritted teeth at him, and I was just like, okay, enough. It was just a playful little notion, but Trapper didn't know no better. Trapper thought I was getting hurt. And Trapper is very good at his job of protecting me. Trapper would put his life on the line to protect me, and that's what I love about him. But he doesn't need to do it to my friends and family. He's done it to my little brother before, too. Yeah, you hear me talking about you, don't you? He's done it to my little brother before, too. I was in the garage, we were cutting up a buck, and I was like, oh my god, my back hurts. Can you pop my back? So my little brother's 6'5", so he walks around and picks me up and bear hugs me, and I'm in the air going, oh god, crack, you know, and then all of a sudden Trapper comes walking in the door, and he's like, oh, and he just lost it. He loses his mind. And my brother's drops me to the floor, and he's like, Trapper, it's just me. I had to practically jump in front of Trapper because he was about ready to attack my little brother. And then he realized it was me, and he was like, oh, okay. And I was like, you want to make a bet and see if you pick me up again, what he's going to do? And my brother was like, sure. So he reached down and picked me up again, and Trapper turned right back around and went to attack mode. And I was like, well, I guess I know if anybody ever touches me, that's all it's going to take for Trapper to fly off the handle. So I just have to make sure, you know, if I'm hugging somebody, he doesn't think, you know, I'm in harm to get harmed on or in harm's way or anything of that sort. Spit out your words, Jeremy. So tonight, yeah, I call it night because it's 8:30 for me right now. It's the first time I'm getting into the craft room after taking care of business here at the house, taking care of all the animals. Everybody's doing fantastic. As you've seen, Trapper was over there chilling in his chair. Mary Jane's asleep on the couch. She was in here earlier. I don't think she's in here anymore. Nope, she's not in here. Thor, he's asleep. He's been asleep since like 7:30. And Nooms, she's up and active right now. She just actually came out of shed. She's been tucked away for a few days. Haven't had any contact with her. I barely able to get her out of her house to give her food. And then she just kind of like looks at me like, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't see a goddamn thing! Because she's shedding, so all of the shed is like kind of coming off on her eyes and sitting all funny. So I made sure she got a nice warm cool cut hide every day, because she's got a hide in her house that is a cool hide, but it's not a cool hide, it's a moist hide. So I try to moisten it daily with warm water. That way she can get in there and get that water on her body so she can soak it in so it'll peel off her skin faster, but also for her not to be like absolutely frozen cold while she's in that hide. But the weather is absolutely bonkers right now. I have no clue what the hell the weather lady is thinking right now. She's Mother Earth. Like, I have no clue right now. I'm lost, because last week we were at 95 degrees. This week we're at 50. And we have severe weather watch coming. We have, oh crap, what they say? 3 to 5 inches of rain within 2 days. And flash floods could happen. We got a really cold front coming through. We're expected to get snow, so there's a lot of shit heading our way right now, which fortunately I'm here for it. I said if it's gonna snow, let that mother trucker snow. Don't hold back. Just dump it. I don't care if I miss a couple of days of work. Work will just have to deal with it. Probably only really 1 day's worth of work I would miss, because I would probably go get the tractor and plow the frickin' driveway, because I live on a road that has a water district on it, so they drive it every day regardless. Let me get a drink real quick. And since we are talking, or I'm not talking, but we are working on the painting for the GiddyUp. Cheers. Wow. Shit. I have a hole in my lip. It's the first time drinking out of that cup, and I did not think it was just going to come guzzling out of there that fast. Like literally a mouthful and a half one on my shirt. Oh well, life goes on. So, we are working on the GiddyUp, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about some horse, tell you guys some horse stories. Me being a kid, growing up with horses. I know I have talked about a little bit of the horse stuff in my lives, so I'm going to try to talk about other stuff than that. But growing up throughout my childhood, I've always been attached to horses. Oh, before I get into the stories, I gotta tell you guys this. So, I go live on Twitch on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights, so if you guys don't follow me on Twitch, go follow me on Twitch. And also, I have a Patreon. Make sure to check that out if you're interested. It's a monthly donation to support the channel. And make sure you go follow me on all my social medias. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Ring the notification bell. And, press it on all so you see when I see when I post. So, that being said, I got something exciting planned for Wednesday night stream on Twitch. I'm doing wood burning like I always do on Wednesdays, but I'm throwing in a freaking curveball, y'all. I am like, I've been watching some creator friends on Instagram and YouTube do this, and I'm like, I'm ready to try it. I have all the you know, the oh-hoo-hoos. I have all the oh-hoo-hoos. So, I'm trying this shit. Okay? We'll see how it turns out. So, that being said, let's get to the stories. So, as I was a kid, as long as I can remember back, I had horses. My aunt bought me and my older brother a pony when we were like 6 and 8. And we had to break it because it was a wild pony. That was my first horse, my first pony, my first everything. And then after a while, I got bigger. I got my own horse. My brother got his own horse. And then Skeeter, the pony, went to my little brother. And then I think it went to my niece later on down the road. And then later on down the road, we ended up sold him because we all got bigger horses because we're all growing boys. So, I remember this one horse I had, his name was Red. He was a red dun. He was an absolute beautiful, stubborn asshole of a horse you would ever want to meet. He would literally be the biggest prick to other horses. Don't know why. Don't know what his deal was. Anytime you were ever riding him and you were come in probably about a 10-foot area of this other horse, my horse Red would instantly run over to the horse and drop its ass back to the horse and start kicking at the horse. My horse was an absolute ass. Or he would sit there and try to bite the other horses as he's trying to kick them. And I'm on his back the whole entire time. And I'm doing freaking shows with him. I'm like, what the frick, Red? I never called him Red. I didn't like the name Red. He was my aunt's horse originally. And then my aunt ended up got a horse that looks just like this horse. His name was Michael. Absolute gorgeous paint horse. He was a dick as well. But Red, I love that horse to death, but he was a jerk. He would literally get me in trouble all the time because I'd be doing Western shows where we'd go to the shows and we'd go out to the crowd of people. We'd walk our horses around and we'd show them and we would, you would get your place and then you'd get a ribbon or whatever. And they were calling us out to give us our ribbons. And I took second place at the time. And because there was another, my aunt took first. So I was like, all right, I'll be fine with second. My aunt won first with a horse that looks like this. His name was Michael. He was a paint. He was absolutely gorgeous. But like, I go to walk up to where my aunt's standing because she took first. I went to go walk over there to stand in second place spot. And what does Red do? He gets up to Michael and he starts to rear up to him and starts to bite him and starts to kick at him. I'm like, hey, Dingleberry, you two live together in the same field. You two are best buds. I literally did not understand what the hell the problem was. But they had a beef. Well, I should say Red had a beef. Michael never really gave two shits about anything. But Red, for some reason, he had a beef. He chose violence, and he always was an ass. Even when he was in the trailer, we'll be riding home from he'll be in the trailer on the ride home, and you can just hear him back there bucking and kicking and just being an absolute jerk. And it's like, whatever did anything to this horse? I don't understand him. This horse has had more training than I can probably say half the horses that I ever rode. Because my aunt used this horse as the horse she did for her veterinarian classes. And she took that horse all over the place. And he was in vet school classes all the time. He went to different seminars training him. That way my aunt got knowledge upon that so she can take it to her school. So that was Red, and while I had Red, I ended up and got this other horse. Red was an older horse. He was probably like 14 or 15, which is still pretty young for a horse. They can live until their 30s. So, really young for a horse. So, my little brother at the time had this one horse that he had got since it was a baby, because a friend of ours owned this gorgeous Mustang mare that came up out of Modoc off the reservation, and it's just gorgeous horse. Like she was just a thick horse that you would find up in like the Modoc region, because Modoc is very high up in the mountains in California, outside where I live. And so she was a very thick horse. Like, she had good stature to her, super thick. Like, I loved how she had her fur around her hoofs was really long and luxurious looking, and she was just an all-around beautiful horse. So, a friend of ours was stabling her mare at the guy's house down the street from my house. And he had an Arabian stallion there on the premises that was next door to her mare. And she went over there one day, and the Arabian stallion was in the mare's pen, and they had bred. And she had a baby that was half Mustang, half Arabian. This horse was freaking stunning, y'all. Like, having a moment, like, I really, really regret getting rid of that horse, because that horse was like, he was an Arabian and he was Mustang, and those are two of the highest strung horses, spiritually very high strung horses. His name was Chisholm when he was born. My brother named him Chisholm. Way back in the day, there used to be this pair of boots. Their name was Chisholm. So he was named after the boots. And he was just absolutely gorgeous. He was a dapple color, but he faded in and out of a gray roan to a dapple. So certain times of the year, he had like the dappling effect on his coat. And then certain times of the year, he had the gray roan look to him. Just an absolute stunning horse. He was a handful of a horse because he was hot-headed, like Mustangs and Arabians are. And my little brother had him since he was a baby. So the lady ended up and had to move her horse out of where she was at, so she brought her to our property. We rode her all the time, took care of her, took care of the baby, and in trade of her staying on the property, we got the baby. So it ended up becoming my little brother's baby. He wanted it, so I already had horses, so I, let him take him. And then when Chisholm was about a year and a half old, when my brother started trying to, like, do some groundwork with him and start getting him broke, because you want to do your breaking of a horse. You want to start doing some of the groundwork and the breaking on your horse at a young age. They learn fast when they're young. We didn't get on him until he was like 2.5 years old. Just because we wanted to make sure the groundwork was in his head, what we expected from him, what he needed to do, and he had control. Like, you can control him with the bit, no problem. And he just got to the point where he was too much for my brother. My brother was trying to break him. He kept throwing my brother off, kept hurting my brother, kept biting my brother. Like, my brother had chunks out of his back and shit. And I was like, let me try him. That horse threw me off quite a bit, but I was hard-headed in my horse training, and I was like, I'm not gonna let this horse beat me. I don't let shit beat me. I don't give up on shit, and I don't let shit beat me. And I'm just like, so finally, I'm in there riding this horse. I got him to the point where he stopped bucking, because got him to the point where he stopped throwing me off. And then I let my brother have him. I was like, okay, he's rideable. My little brother was like, sweet. So my little brother starts riding him. After about 15 minutes, my little brother riding him, he's right back to his old self again. Bucking and kicking, biting the shit out of my brother. And my brother was like, that's it. I'm done. You can have him. And I was like, okay, no problem. At this time, I already had a horse and I was breaking a pony for my aunt. It was for her daughter. It was a pony that was born on this property that was down the road, and it lived in a field for 5 years, and nobody touched this pony. She was pretty wild pony. She was a good sized pony, but she was pretty wild. By this time, I think I was like 14 or 15 years old. So I broke that pony for my aunt. She became a baby soft little, like you can throw a baby on the back of that little pony, and she would just walk around, no problems. What was her name? I can't remember her name. But my cousin took her all over the place, did shows with her, all kinds of stuff. And then one year we had the fire out in Jones Valley, and everybody was out that way, was getting evacuated. So a bunch of people that we knew came to our house, and this one lady that came out here, she had 3 baby wild Mustangs, and they were wild as wild can be. And I fell in love as soon as I seen them, because there was 2 buckskins, and my favorite horse of all, color-wise, is a buckskin. There's something about a buckskin horse that is just absolutely stunning. If I had my other phone, I would show you. If I remember, I'll put a picture right here of a buckskin, and oh my god, they're just so gorgeous. I love them to death. So she came and brought 3 baby Mustangs and another horse with her, and like some goats and cows and stuff. And after working with the babies for a couple of hours, I got them calmed a little bit to the point where I can walk up and grab the lead, and they didn't freak out, because they were on like 10-foot long leads, so you can catch them easily. And then the fire, we were actually evacuated at the time, but because of the issue that we had all of our animals on the property, which we had at the time. We had 6 horses, 8 or 9 cows, over like 70 pigs. I had a pig farm. I had a pig business when I was in high school. I raised pigs. From the time I was 8th grade, I had 2 horses, or maybe I was in 9th grade. I had 2 horses. I had a bunch of pigs, and I was going to high school. I was working part-time, and I was doing college requisite. Hey, I said it. Requisite classes. So the lady was getting ready to leave, and I was like, man, I really, really, really love your 2 buckskin babies, you know. And at the time, I didn't want Chisholm because he was just one of those animals that, you know, my brother was like, I don't want him. And so I took him because they were going to sell him, and I was like, no, I like him. I want him. And I really did like him. He was a gorgeous horse, and I liked the breeding of him more because he was buckskin and Arabian. It'd make a fantastic endurance horse. And endurance horses they're like mountain bred horses that run endurance runs like up mountains and shit, and like they're absolutely beasts of horses. And so I'm like, yeah, I really like your 2 Mustangs. And she's like, well, I would trade you for that horse right there. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, I'm looking for a horse for my grandson. And I was like, well, he's not broke at all. Like, besides groundwork, and I have him a little greenbroke, they call it. It's like when the horse is like freshly broke, but still has a tendencies of like doing some bucking. And I was like, he's like just barely greenbroke. And she's like, I don't care. I can have my kids break him. So I was like, well, what would you trade him for? And she's like, I'll give you one of these buckskins. And I was like, the babies? I was like, he's too good of a horse to pass up for one baby buckskin. And she's like, well, I tell you what, I'll give you both buckskins. But she's like, I'm keeping the black horse because there was a pure black Mustang there as well. And I was like, that's fine. I'm interested in the buckskins. There was a dark buckskin female and a light buckskin male. And the light buckskins are the ones that I like. The dark buckskins are gorgeous, but I'm a huge fan of the light buckskin. And so I was like, well, let me go talk to my little brother because this is technically his horse, and I want to make sure he's 100% positive that he does not want this horse anymore before I go and trade it for 2 other horses. So I go up to the house, I talk to my mom, talk to my little brother. My little brother's like, I'm done with that horse. I don't want him. You can trade him, sell him, do whatever the freak you want with him. I don't want him anymore. And I was like, okay. So I talked to my mom, and I talked to my aunt, and they were both like, well, if you're going to do it for both babies, not just one, because it's not worth it. And you're going to have a longer road ahead of you. You're going to have another, 2.5 years before you can even do anything with these babies, because they were like 3 months old, I think. Like, they were tiny. They weren't very big. So I ended up and traded her. The worst decision I ever did. I hate it every day of my life. Every day of my life I think about Chisholm. And the reason I think about Chisholm is because right now he's one of the world-renowned endurance horses in our area. He has won numerous endurance races. He has such the biggest heart and the most give I've ever seen out of a horse. Like, that horse loves to run those mountains. And like, I went and rode him probably 7 or 8 years ago. He may not be like fully running those mountains now because he is quite a bit older of a horse now, because God, that was like, he's got to be in his 20s now. So he may not be running anymore, but he used to be phenomenal running those mountains. And I went and rode him a while back, probably like 8 or 9 years ago. He was still such a hothead, but he was the most gorgeous horse I think I have ever let go out of my hands, and I regret it every day. I hate it because he's such an awesome horse today. She got a very fair deal out of the situation. I kind of got the shit end of the stick, and still to this day, I'm pissed off at myself about it. And mainly, I'm pissed off at myself about it because I got those 2 baby buckskins, and I let go of Chisholm, number 1. Number 2, my aunt turned around and says, well, since you have 2 babies now, you don't have time for Red. And she turned around and sold Red. I came home from school, and he was being loaded up into a trailer, and I was like, what's going on? My aunt was like, I sold him. And I was like, what do you mean you sold him? He's mine. She's like, no, you know, I only told you can ride him and take care of him. I'm like, no, that's bullshit. You told me I can have him. And she's like, no, that's not the agreement. My mom went off on my aunt, which is my mom's little sister. My mom went off, and she's like, that's bullshit. Number 1. She's like, number 2, you're lucky I don't come over here and beat your ass because you just took my son's everyday routine away from him. Now what does he have? Every day I'd come home. I would go to school. I would come home. No, sorry. I'd go to school. I would go work about 4 hours at the golf course, and then I would come home. And then I would take care of my pigs, take care of my horses, and then I would go ride Red. And my aunt sold him. I was so pissed and brokenhearted because I loved that horse. He was the best horse. Although he was an asshole, but he was mine for like 7 or 8 years. I took care of him. I paid for everything for that horse. And then she did that to me. And that's one of the reasons why me and my aunt really don't talk anymore, because I got tired of an Indian giver. And I hate saying that word. I'm an Indian, and I absolutely hate that saying, but that's my aunt to a T. She did that my whole life. Like, she would give me animals and be like, oh, this is yours, you can have him. And then once I got a little sidetracked from, that animal and got busy with other animals, she'd be like, oh, You weren't paying much attention to him, so I sold him. I'm like, I'm done with you. I disown you. So yeah. After that, see, my mom passed away. And I was living over on the coast with my girlfriend at the time. And I left everything here, except for my dog. And my brother was feeding my animals for me and taking care of them. And then I came home and I got rid of a couple of my animals because I wasn't going to be there and it wasn't fair for my animals. So I ended up and gave the 2 baby Mustangs, as much as I hated it, I gave them to my girlfriend at the time's uncle. And as far as I know, they're still up there. A friend of mine, Lloyd, that I used to work with at the paper up in Weaverville, he had some horses up there. He took the female, and my ex's stepdad took the or uncle. I don't remember. I think it was her uncle. Took the little male buckskin, and they used them for pack horses. So they packed supplies into deer camps all the way up in the Trinity Alps. You guys, if my hip could last, I would hike to Trinity Alps right now. It is so breathtaking up there. There's so many places around here right now that I want to go, but I just can't get out and hike like I used to. There's so many places I want to go take pictures. But I just can't physically get out and walk. I mean, I can walk fine, but the places that I want to go are like a 30-mile hike, and no, I'm not ready for a 30-mile hike. Like, I'd be dead. So other than that, got rid of my horses. It's very sad after that. I was depressed for a long time after that. I lost my mom, got rid of my horses. I still had my pigs for a while, and then my boar I had at the time that would breed all of my sows, and one of my pigs was having babies, and I didn't really read the signs all the way, and I got into the pen where they were at, and the mama is giving birth to her babies. I didn't really realize it, and here comes the boar, full charge, right at me. I'm like, oh shit. A 900-pound boar with about 5-inch long tusk running straight at me. He was in New York, Hampshire, running straight at me, snapping his mouth. I run over to the H frame. It's in the fence, and the H frame kind of goes up, a pole here, a pole here, and a pole here, and there's cross beams. So it's like an H, but it's not really an H. But if you look at it from one direction, it's an H. So I run over to that. I put my foot on the one board. I hit the other board, and then I jump over the top of the fence. That mother trucker comes up behind me and swoops his mouth up behind me, and his tooth hits me in the ass cheek, and then like drags across the whole backside of my pants and rips out like the whole ass cheek all the way down through my leg of ripped out by his tusk. He literally tried to kill me. And after that, I was like, alright, I'm done with this boar being an asshole like this. I didn't really understand why, but I was able to get him locked up, and I went and checked the mom, and the mom had some complications, and her babies... Yo, I haven't talked about this in a long time. This brings back so many memories. But, her babies were born with cleft palates. There's no fixing that in a pig. She had 13 babies. And I had to euthanize them all. Because, well, not all of them. 4 of them passed away before I can euthanize them. Because they were drowning in mom's milk. After that, and my boar, Oscar, almost taking my life, I gave up on pigs. I sold all of them off. I couldn't handle it anymore. Sorry, I had to get a drink. So yeah, I got rid of all my animals. I ended up moved away. I was gone for like almost a year and a half, 2 years. Came back. Ironically, when I left here, I was working for the place I work for right now. And when I came back, they offered me my job back. They really didn't have a choice. My cousin worked there. My cousin was the main guy there. So, they needed people. And they gave me the job back. And I've been there now for 25 or 26 years. I was trying to figure it out the other day because my boss's son is like 20. God, oh. It's 25 or 26. And boss's wife was pregnant with him when I went to work there. No, he was like... trying to think. He was like a baby, like maybe a month old. I think that's what it was. He was just a wee little guy. Because I remember she came in and he was in a yeah, he had to be like maybe a month old, maybe 2 at most. So I've been like a brother to his son as he grew up and came up in this world. He's a good kid. He's in the Navy. He's doing big things with his life. But anyways, I gotta straighten this diamond up. This one, this right here is... I need to find one of my straighteners because I don't know where it's at. There we go. Looks better. I was working over here and going across, but then I was like, man, I really need to get a jump on this canvas. So I know there's a bunch of color blocking here, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to knock out this whole section and get this whole section done. And then it just leaves me a little section. And hopefully I can get this busted out in a relatively good time. So, to give you guys a little bit of backstory about me, like I just did, so it kind of gives you guys an idea of why I'm so close to horses, animals. Like, I have a soft spot for animals in my heart. Like, I love them. But what's not to love about an animal? They're loyal. I mean, look at this. He's over here sound asleep. Oh, his eyes are open. Shit. He noticed me talking. Oh, shit. Yeah, he's over here just chilling out with Dad. Doesn't have a care in the world. Hubby, you tired, baby? I love you. Never leaves my side. I can't wait to look and see what this eye looks like. I'm gonna make it sparkle like Michael's eye used to. Michael, this painting that this horse reminds me of, he had the biggest, beautifulest blue eyes that you could ever imagine on a horse. Like, they were so gorgeous. I love that horse, but he was still my aunt's, and she ended up sold him. Very sad. But anyway, so that's about my story of horses. Like, I love horses. I grew up with horses. I've showed horses. I've worked rodeos with the horses. I've team roped. I have bulldogged. I have bulldozed. I don't know if you guys are familiar with bulldozed, but that is when you are one of the guys in the arena when the bull rider comes out, and the guy rides the bull, and when he gets bucked off or jumps off, I'm one of the guys that goes and lassos the horse if he's, or the bull if he's giving us problems and starting shit. I'll go lasso him and I will bulldoze his ass out of that arena. And what I mean by that is, there used to be this horse that we used to have, a friend of mine used to have. His name was Dozer. And he was this gorgeous, huge paint that looked almost just like this. But he was like a, I don't remember the breed of horse he was, but he was just a tank of a horse. And my buddy used to let me ride him. And I used to go over and I would lasso a bull, and I would tie my rope around the saddle horn, and that horse, I would just give that horse a kick on his side, and he would drag that bull out of that arena with no problems. It was the best thing ever. The bull would just be sitting there looking at me like, what the hell? Done all kinds of stuff. Rodeo life was awesome for a long time. I used to travel with my aunt for a while, doing rodeo stuff. Girls. There's something about a girl in tight Wranglers. Oh, God. Oh, God. Becky, would you look at that butt? Yeah, cowgirl butts are the best. Oh, goodness gracious. You guys are probably like, whatever, don't give a shit. So, other than that, I have been playing video game this week. I'm trying to get myself into some sort of a schedule. That way I can still video game, but I still diamond paint or have time to make videos. So Monday nights, I video game all night. Like, literally, last Monday I was up until like 2 o'clock in the morning video gaming it up, and I was just like, I wonder what time it is. I would grab my phone, I'm like, oh, it's 2:10 in the morning. I gotta get up at 6 o'clock. Okay, time to go to bed. I just got up and shut everything down and went to bed. Tonight, I came straight in here. I picked up the craft room a bit. I finished off this section. Actually, I did finish off this section today, didn't I? So I lied to you guys. I did diamond paint, but I finished off a section about like this big. That was like right here. Before I started recording this whip and chat. So I didn't have to try to finish this section on the whip and chat. I can just come over here, sit down and talk, and just put all these whites down. I got a question for you guys. Please answer in the comments. Would you guys rather have a white background or a black background? I like the black, because it just makes the colors just blam. But I also like the white on this because it just makes him just beautiful. That's how much I got done. All the way over there, all the way down here, his nose, and then I'm working up this side. I'm gonna finish this. Probably work on this no, not tomorrow. I got a wood burn tomorrow. Thursday. I gotta record a video Thursday for Friday. Maybe Thursday or Friday. I'll try to get this section done. I've been trying not to wood burn as much because I have the event going on. And I want to get this painting done within a month, because the event is only for 1 month. So I'm trying to get this done so I can get the event, so I can have it done before the event's over. And then the last like few days or so of the event, I'll just wood burn horses. Everybody who won last week's giveaway stuff that was sent out yesterday. Actually, the day I'm recording this, it was sent out, which today is Tuesday. So, that being said, I think I'm about done here for the night. I don't think I got anything else to talk about. So, if you haven't posted any progress report pictures on your paintings, either in my Facebook group, which is JTMJ Crafts, if you are not in the group, make sure you answer the questions, because if you don't, my mods will kick you out. No lie. They will just, because people show up, they ask to join, they don't answer questions. Half the time people don't have profile pictures. Half the time it looks like a weird name. So I have told all of them, if they do not answer the question, and that's the thing. It's simple. Very, very simple. If you answer the questions, it automatically puts you into the group. If you don't answer the questions, then it goes to the mods. And the mods can do whatever they want, because that's what that's what I gave them permission to do. It just prevents people from joining that don't have anything to do with me or any crafts. Because I've had some people join, they're like, oh, what goes on in this Facebook group? I'm like, crafts. Are you here from my YouTube channel? YouTube channel? I don't know you. Then why are you here? Why? Well, it just said JTMJ Crafts. I thought you sold stuff. No, I don't sell stuff. I don't sell anything. If anything, if you want something from me, go join my Patreon, because I do give back to Patreons, and I do give them woodburns and other things. So, that being said, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. I'm going to try to finish most of this off before I head to bed. It is like 10 something now. 9, 8, 9. Somewhere in that zone. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed. If you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell so you know when to post. And don't forget to go look in the comment section. Not the comment section below. Go look in the description box down below. You'll see all of my links to all of my stuff that I use. There's a whole section there, how to support the channel, socials, and all the stuff I use down to the bottom. So, that's all. Peace, love, respect for all. Have a fantastic day. Adios, amigos. Bye.